Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of AEW Weekly Wrap Up. I'm your host, Ethan Black, and today we're going to tell the AEW shows from last week and also this past Wednesday's first of three nights of Holiday Bash. Give you the upcoming preview of the upcoming shows and also the Ring of Honor as they have fun about last Friday and last night's episode. So we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to start with last Friday's Rampage, December 15th. It was the same. It was right after Final Battle, but I'll tell Final Battle with the Ring of Honor stuff. We go with Trios action is International Champ Orange Cassidy teams with Devon Aaron Marshall and Ross Von Erich. They defeat Angel Parker, Jake Hager, and Matt Menard at 7 minutes and 46 feet roll up on Angel Parker. And tag match Don Callis family, Cole Fletcher, and Powerhouse Hobbs defeating Hunter Gray and Paul Titan at 44 seconds feet World's Dangerous Slam. And a JDB Rail Bow 7 minutes 32 by submission via Queen Slayer. In the main event, an excellent main event trios action, pop like Dante and Darius Martin. Team up Ashley Andrade to get the win over El Hijo Vikingo, Commander, and Pentagon Jr. at 16 minutes and 8 seconds when Dante pinned Commander. So quick reign. So the opening trios match, Devon Erickson Cassie versus ex Jericho Appreciation Society gets 6 out of 10. The Don Callis versus Gray and Titan gets a no rating because under a minute. And a J first round of it gets a 5 out of 10. And then the main event trios match gets a 9. This match was excellent. Honestly, on this, on night 2 of Winners Coming, I would watch the main event. And we go to Collision Winners Coming Day 3, episode 27 of Collision. We had 3 Blue League matches. So the first one was Claudio Castagnoli, who's coming in the show with 3 points, go gets Andrade Elo, who's going with 9. And but on this show, Claudio and Eddie were on the bubble. If they lost, they would have been mathematically eliminated. But Claudio does keep his chances alive going to semifinals by defeating Andrade Elo at 15 minutes and 34 seconds. So Claudio goes to 6 points with 2 and 1. And Andrade Elo is at 9 points with 3 wins and 1 loss. Second match, Abaddon defeat Jasmine Allure at a minute 7 via Black Delilah. And by the way, Claudio beat Andrade with Neutralizer, by the way. For the International title, Orange Cash retains with Brian Keefe at 9 minutes and 9 seconds via Mouse Trap. In a tag team street fight, Chris Statler and Will Nygaard via D Monte and Mercedes Martinez at 10 minutes and 33 seconds via chain wrap clothesline on Martinez. Then 6-minute tag champ Brian Cage being Kari right in mid 20 via Jericho. Semi-main event in a Blue League match of the Condo Classic. Eddie Kingston coming in this match with 3 points. Go against Derek Garcia, who has remained winless. And just like Claudio, Kingston had to win or he was mathematically eliminated. And Kingston does as he joins Claudio with 6 points, defeating Daniel Garcia at 12 minutes towards the spinning backfist. So Eddie, after collision, was 6 points with 2 wins and 1 loss, while Garcia is 0 and 4. And the main event, the battle of 6 points, Brian Dales versus Brody, both men coming up with 6 points each. And Brian Dales goes up to 9 points, so he joins Andrade Elo with 3 wins and 1 loss, defeating Brody King at 15 minutes and 12 seconds via Psycho knee. And Brody King, he joins Eddie and Claudio with 2 wins and 1 loss. My apologies. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 wins, 2 losses each. My apologies. I forgot this was but I'll talk. And by the way, for the Blue League scenarios, I will talk about those at the end of the Dynamite review. And speaking of that, we're going to go to the first night of Holiday Bash. So we had 5 matches on the show, and we kick it off with the first of 3 Gold League matches of the Continental Classic. So Mox, they did say on commentary, and when Ian Rickenbach was breaking down the tournament, that Mox had already secured his spot in the semifinals. So basically, we were going to find out who's joining him. So the opening match was Swerve coming to the show with 9 points. Go against Rush, who's coming out with 6. So Swerve had to win to advance to some, and he needed. I'll tell at the end there, but Jay White had to win or so, but we didn't fully, at the time we knew that. So before we know the officials, so thanks to Sweet Suit Williams from Voice of Wrestling, FOW Online, he's been basically keeping up with the basic scenarios of the Continental Classic. So before we knew the official, so it was the Tuesday, I believe, he posted this article. I recommend checking that out if you haven't seen it. So on the goal league, so with Swerve, he had to win against Roosh, and Jay White, only he could advance with a win of his own, and either Swerve loses or draws. But obviously, spoiler, that already happened. But like I said, the opening match, Swerve gets a win over Roosh at 14 minutes and 53 seconds for his first round. This was actually an excellent match to kick off Holiday Bash Night 1. Both men had, Swerve had tape on his shoulder, and then Roosh had his thigh taped up as well. I did like where he went for the swerve, hit the 450, and only got a 1 count, and then brainbuster, and then house call and the swerve stomp. One spot I thought was crazy was Rouge hit an overhead belly button suplex to swerve on the floor. I mean, he almost hit the apron, and I thought Rouge almost had a winner with the straight jacket pile driver. But yeah, Swerve goes up to 12. Then we found out after the match, so this, with the main event with John Wise for Jay White. So if Moxley wins or draw, then the semifinals will be a rematch from Holiday Bash Night 1. Or, sorry, Winners Coming Night 1. It would be Jericho first, or Moxley versus Swerve. And if Jay White wins, then it would be a triple threat match because all three men have wins already. So Moxley has win over Swerve. Swerve has win over White. And if White obviously beat Moxley, then basically it'd be unbreakable. Like, there's no way one guy gets advanced. But yeah, I'll talk about that when we get to the main event. And then Jericho's in the back. When Mike Frone talks about last week, we came end up in the hospital because I died with Claudius. I do apologize if I butcher that name, the diagnosis from, but and basically saying Omega's out AEW definitely, and it has effect on the Golden Jets opportunity to go up the World Tag Team titles, and wishes the best in his road to recovery as the fans were chanting for Omega. And yes, I do hope Omega gets a speedy recovery. And I won't tell what injuries. Lana did get surgery on her affected finger. I guess she got it from a splinter while she was at Dynamite last week. But thank God they said the doctors caught it before it went to her organs and bones. So good thing she got in there at time. But I mean, she posted pictures of her surgery. I guess they got her on antibodies that do. And I mean, if I wasn't even trying to look for the picture, but she posted of her finger after surgery. It is. I don't get queasy often, but I let's just say I almost threw my dinner. But I'm glad they're both safe, and hopefully they make a full-time recovery soon. But as we move on to our review, we move on to the second Gold League match of the Continental Classic. Mark Briscoe for shit. Both men come in with 0 points, so they were both eliminated. Basically, just for pride. And Mark Briscoe gets his only point on the board at 13 minutes and 53 seconds via Jay Driller. This was actually a really these two guys never had bad matches. I mean, last time they faced up was the Jay Briscoe, the Dynamite after Jay Briscoe unfortunately passed away. That was late January, I believe, like January 25th. That's what it was. But I like how at the end where Lethal tries to go for Lethal inject, but Mark blocks it, hits the Burning Hammer, and it hits the Jay Driller. I guess my only nitpick on this was Jay Lethal basically going for the lethal injection like way too many times. It was almost like every second or third move he tried to go for. Like, I get that's your finisher, but I'm just nitpicking. But honestly, I thought he just went for a little bit too much to my liking. I did like the rolling torture rack spot. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the lethal combination, you don't see that often. But yeah, these two never bad match. But I just wanted the 7 out of 10 as well. Do we see highlights of AEW World Champ MJF getting into the National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame comments, how much it means to him? And by the way, if you haven't seen Solo Monster's interview with him, I recommend checking that out. It was actually a pretty good interview. It's like 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. It's between 20 to 30 minutes, so it's a quick listen. It's really good. And then we get a video pack from Warlow. He said MJF's clock is ticking. We're getting closer to his world ending. And we see MJF Wrong Cry Week into the world seeing broken. He said the pain for MJF sins cannot be delayed any longer, and he'll be the one to bring the devils to his knees. Good promo from Warlow. Maybe he's working with I don't think he's devil himself. I think he's probably one of like the helpers, I guess. And we go over to Samoa Joe. Says he's coming to seeking answers. And he said he's questioned the wrong people since Raw Drop brings him a good point. For a small reason, him and Page was affected and brings about footage of MJF being taken was never seen. But when others attack cameras are there, then he calls MJF out and answers a few questions. So MJF comes out and asks if he accuses of being the devil, and which is correct. And he said he's going to protect him before the main World's End. He said he clearly cares about his property as much as he cares about his diet. That was actually a good little savage line there. And since they're throwing accusations out, MJF said he's got thrown of his own. He said the Maskman never laid a finger on Joe, which is true. Before he says he doesn't like Joe and Trustman's confused why he's waiting to World's End. And basically they got face to face before we saw like 12 to like 15 Maskmen run out, but Joe and MJF easily take them all out. Then we saw more from the crowd surround the ring, lights go out, see the devil, and here's a message. It's basically the same one we got back in the week before the Montreal show, and then challenge him for the Ring of World Tag Team titles. And then MJ gets on the microphone. He promised Adam Cole that he would defend the title. So Samoa Joe immediately takes the microphone and says, "Those are the boys' asses." So we're getting that match again next week. I hope they don't do what they did in Montreal and basically tease it, but never fully got it. But let's see what I think the Kingdom might be. I've been saying for a while, I hope Kingdom actually wins the World Tag Team titles. But we'll have to wait and see. The backstage Renee Paquette interviews best friends and tells that is international champion Orange Cassidy, Chris Styler, Rock Mountain. By the way, I do count Rock Dream apart as best friends, but just like an honorary member. And Paquette talks about Cassidy and Statler's recent wins and asks 23 why it what the future look for Rock Mountain. But boy, Chuck Taylor is injured. Apparently, I never even knew that until Renee brought that up. And then Rocky talks about his reign as CMO World Star welterweight champion. But he had some great matches, by the way, during that reign. I don't get to catch CMML too much, but when I do, it's pretty good. And he basically doubled one more gold around his waist, and an orange says we'll see him on Friday for the international. And Rocky was pressed. He said he didn't mean that. I didn't like this segment at all. I actually kind of thought it was what a lazy way to get a title match. I'm sorry. And the funny part, Romero was even talking. He said he's one more on Cassidy. Thought just assume he's talking about him, but I hope it's gonna be a good match. I hope on Friday. And like I said, I'll talk about the company shows after. Speaking of titles, we go to the women's title number contenders match. Riho for Saraya. The winner will go to face Toni Storm at World's End on December 30th. I did like when Storm came out and called Taz the human duplex machine. I could not stop laughing at that comment. And then Excalibur, Toni Storm said we're going to pitch it, and Excalibur still might bit. I thought Storm was actually great on commentary this week, but Riho easily gets one over Saraya at 7 minutes and 41 seconds via running knees. Honestly, this on these 5 matches, this was the weakest thing on the show for me. I thought this was way too predictable, to be honest with you. And yeah, I just couldn't get into this, but I think I just knew Riho was winning. I did like the spot where she basically went around pretty much she went from one side of the ring to the other with head scissors. And then after the break, she went paying tribute to Riho, so it was 619 or Tiger Fang kick. And then basically top row stomp, Brennan East puts her away. Then after the match, Storm gets in the ring after the carries her and stares at Riho uppercut. Again, I thought that was pretty funny. And then Riho hits Storm with the Tiger Fake kick. And then I think she would go for something else, but Mariah May nails her in the head with the women's. And I mean, she had to get a buzzer open pretty too. So I mean, Mariah May hit her pretty good with that title. If you get queasy easily, I don't. Like, it's not as bad as the CJ Perry pictures, but I mean, for Queens, I wouldn't look. And I did laugh when Toni Storm was a little confused, and she had no idea who Mariah May was, and she's going around rings asking fans who she was, even though Mariah May introduced her to her like 15 times. But yeah, we're getting Storm versus Rio at World's End on December 30th. By the way, I was going to do my match. Most should I do my match of the years, either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day at the least, but now I probably have to wait a little bit longer. Not like super long, by a couple of days, but because Tony got some paper right before New Year's Eve. I'm sorry, if you were doing December preview, I would have did it like. I get that was probably his only date probably available to do it there, but honestly, I would have did it like last week or something, if I'm being honest. And then Tony explains on he has a comparison for TNT champ Christian Cage, and he told him in case Shivani puts it in like he usually does, Christian will slap him, and he tells. So basically, Shivani's reading off Christian, telling him to get the mouth shut. And then he said he took Nick Wayne on vacation after he went out Copeland. And then he'll be on Collision Saturday to respond to Copeland's no DQ challenge at World's End. And he says he's best nothing but us by Heroes Welcome Plus return. Then this is my actually favorite segment of the show. We come out for break. Not this part, but the swerve. And I'll get to that in a second. Basically, they're arguing, and MJF tells Joe to keep standing there as he keeps walking. He sees the mask in front of the mobile NBC's door, which knocks on. As soon as Prince answers, MJF basically throws him up against the wall and asks what the mask was about. And it's work. Ideally, I would not have just like slams the door. And he said, if I see MJF, and MJF starts singing Swerve's theme song. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually a pretty good song. Done with the history together, making long car rides, doing it, and investigator. Swerve said MJF was his best chauffeur he's ever had, and brings out his failed trial with William Regal. I didn't care if I was talk to him. And before MJF tells Swerve to watch his mouth and tone, and then and just how Swerve hates him and Page begged to be the world champion. So why they couldn't drop him and getting them Jason as the devil. But basically he said if he was gonna keep winning the world title by his face, he was gonna bring him hell. And we see Mobile Embassy open the door and basically look like we're gonna get a like 5-on-1 attack before Joe said belts is elsewhere, and then Prince out told Swerve to freaking pump on Collision last week. That was a great. I can't wait for the MJF wherever that match is happening. But easily this was the best segment on the show. And then we go to match number 4, Roger Strong versus Commander, who is the AAA Cruiserweight Champion. I jokingly joke with what my wrestling group says that this is an eliminator match because you know how Tony Khan loves doing those as well. And Roger Strong does get the win at 9 minutes 55 with the sick looking end of heart. So basically the end of the match where he hits him with the end of heart, but basically Commander does a couple extra rotations. But it was fun. I just won 6 out of 10. It was a fun match. I don't really got much. You kind of knew he was going to win. Then after the match, Renee joins Roderick in the ring, and that's why him getting over hanging out MJF's devil signs everybody in the crowd. And then he so basically saying Smojo's is oblivious to MJF's the devil. And when him and Brian MJF, he got taken out, and he has to make him believe him. He says President for proxy calls Renee crazy for downing him. Because that same. And we go to our main event, the Gold League match of the Continental Classic. Jon Moxley coming in with 12 points versus Jay White coming in with 9. So basically, like I said, Swerve. So basically, Moxley wins or draws, then the semi stays 1-on-1 between him and Swerve. But if Jay White wins, the semifinal match gets turned into a triple threat. And Jay White does that at 15 minutes and 9 seconds via Blade Runner. This was a fun match. Out of the 3 Continental Classic match, this was actually the weakest one for me, honestly. Not by much. Like I gave all 3 sevens, but if I had to, I'd probably go in the order they had it. Like Swerve versus number 1, Mark and Jay Lethal number 2, and then Jay White and Moxley. But White was basically working on the knee of Moxley during the last few minutes. I did like where Moxley tried to put the match in early, which is smart. My only nitpick, I mean, Moxley was already at 12. Honestly, I kind of wish Moxley just clean sweeped, to be honest with you. But I gave some to my, but I wouldn't like that either. But yeah, we get a triple threat match between Jay White, Jon Moxley, and Swerve Strickland. So after the match, Swerve comes to both men as Moxley got laid up by White to close the Holiday Bash. I actually really enjoyed this Holiday Bash show night 1. Only matches that you need to check out from this show, it's just a tour of matches. That's really the only 3 you need to check out from this show. So the final Gold League series after, well, I'm just going by G1 schedule. So this would be night 10. First place, Moxley, Swerve, and Jay White with 12 points, 4 wins, and 1 loss. Rush comes in second place with 6 points with 2 wins and 3 losses. And third place, Mark Briscoe with 3 points, 1 win, 4 losses. And Jay Lethal, comes in last place with no points, with no wins, and 5 losses. So then the other holiday bet. So on Rampage tonight, December 20th, night 2, Orange Guys will defend the International against Rocky Romero. Kingdom, Matt Taven, and Mike Bedford, the Hardys, Matt and Jeff. Sky Blue for his Queen, and Amanita. I do apologize if I butchered that name. And then a rematch from Final Bout for the AAA Mega title. El Hydra Viking goes against Black Truce. But after the overall score for Dynamite was 7 out of 10. So night 3, that would be Collision. We have 6 matches made for the show. So the 3 Blue League matches, Andre Elo with 9 points versus Eddie King with 6 points. Brian Danielson with 9 points versus Claudio Castellano, who's coming with 6 points. And Brody King also with 6 points versus Dale Garcia. I'll get to their scenarios in a second after I finish reading the rest of the shows off. Trio Stars on 1D Claim and Billy Gunn defends against Hotline Action and Andretti. Tag team match, TBS Julie Hart and Sky Blue versus Abaddon and the return Thunder Rosa. And Brian Cage goes on with Keith Lee. That's going to be a house fight. Then our New Year's match card so far for December 27th. The 2 semifinal matches on the Continental Classic from the Gold League side, triple threat. Moxley, Swerve, and Jay White. And then the 2 winners of the Blue League will meet at the semifinal. And the Ring of World titles on the line is MJF Samoa Joe defends the 2 masked men. And for the World's End cards so far made for December 30th, the finals of the Continental Classic Gold League winner versus the winner of Blue League. MJF defends the World title against Samoa Joe, and Tony Storm defends against Riho for the women's title. I mean, and we don't know what's going to be. I didn't bother talking about because who with Omega with this diagnosis, so we'll wait and see on that one. That one's basically a question mark. So now we go over the Blue League scenario. So Will Washington did do an update, but honestly, his is, no offense to Will Washington, but his is kind of confusing. I gotta give credit to Suits. His was a little bit better. So that's I'm not really going off Wills because it honestly it's just a headache to read. I'm not gonna lie. So for Andrade and Brian Danielson, they basically go to by win or draw over Eddie and Claudio. So basically they have they can control their destiny. Eddie Kingston he needs to advance and have Brody King lose or go to a draw. Claudio has he basically needs help from Andrade and Daniel Garcia. So Claudio has to win, but he has to beat Brian Danielson and have Kingston and Brody both either lose and draw. And for Brody King, he basically has to win, and Andrade has to lose. Andrade and Brian both have to lose. Actually, I'm just covering what Will Washington brought up for Brody. I think they said Brody was out, I believe. I'm just double checking. Sorry, everybody. Give me 1 sec. So with Brody, so basically, if he loses, he's out, but he wins, he only advances with Andrade loss, and a draw will eliminate him. And then people were correct. And so Will Washington correct. He said it Brody, Claudio, and Eddie all win. Then it's a 5-1 tie with 9 points and no tiebreaker. So probably a 5-way, but that's basically how the scenarios are. So basically, but honestly, what Suit wrote on his article is saying that Brody, technically, I would consider Brody eliminated too because he did lose to both Andre and Brian. So yeah, we could possibly have a 5-way tie with 9 points. But honestly, I don't think that's happening. I'm going to make a prediction now. I'm going to say Andrade and Brian both advance. I would not be mad if Eddie does advance because where his titles on the line. So I'm going to say Andrade and Brian both advance, but I'll say Eddie as a honorable mention. But I'm pretty excited for the Blue League matches, but that is AEW. And then we'll go over to Ring of Honor as they had a pay-per-view last Friday, December 15th at Garland, Texas. We had 15 matches. So before the show, actually, we had 9, and then during the day, Tony Khan had like 3 or 4 more, but I'll get to them. So the 4 pre-show matches were Title Falcon defeating Jasmine Miller 4.5 minutes, and tag dimension fun. Eric Marshall and Ross defeated the LRS Truth Madam Tour for 6 minutes and 10 seconds. In the final Survivor of the Fist TV Tall qualifying match, Brian Keefe defeated Jack Carlos 7 minutes and 14 seconds. And I mean, this was literally last second on the pre-show. Daniel Garcia gives win over Blake Christian 12 minutes 16 seconds. So the actual show starts with a AAA Mega Title. El Hidro Vikingo retains over Black Truth at 16 minutes and 29 seconds. For the 6-man tag team titles, Mobile Embassies, Bishop Khan, Brian Cage, Total Leo retains over DMDK's Bad Dude Dito, Kusei Vegeta, and Shane Hayes at 12 minutes 3 seconds. In an I Quit match, Ethan Page defeating Tony Nason 20 minutes and 5 seconds. Nyla Rose defeating for Fix in 2 minutes and 41 seconds. TBTO online Survivor is basically it's their version of a 6-pack challenge, and it's elimination. So Carl Fletcher he wins the TBTO at 25 minutes 54 seconds, last eliminating Commander. But the other guys in the match were Brian Keefe, Don Castle, and Lee Johnson and Moriarty, and I went 25 minutes 54 seconds. Pure Tone on the line, Weirdo retained over Tom Lawler 13 minutes 11 seconds. Battle up the big mini man slap and meet. Keith Lee gets win over Shane Taylor 14 minutes and 40 seconds. In a fight to honor Jay Briscoe 6-man tag, Blackpool Combat Club, Ron Dales and Claudia Custer with John Moxley. First FTR, Casual Dax Howard, and Mark Briscoe went to a double count 18 minutes and 51 seconds. So we get a rematch under fight without honor rules. And FTR Mark Briscoe does defeat BCC, and that went 10 minutes and 46 seconds. So overall, that went like 35, 40 minutes. And this match was made on the pre-show. Pro McGregor match, Warring World Champ Eddie Kingston defeat Anthony Henry at 5 minutes 45 seconds. And the main for the women's title, Athena retains over Billy Starks at 28.5 minutes. On this show, I will watch from the pre-show, so I just watched the Garcia Blake Christian match. On the main show, I will watch the AAA Mega Title DI Quit match, even though it did not need to go 20 minutes. The Survival of the Fist elimination match, honestly, that did not need to go 25. I would have cut maybe 5-10 minutes off that match, but again, I get why. But this was on Honor Club, by the way, so not too bad. But anyway, so basically, watch the from pre-show Garcia versus Blake Christian, main show AAA Mega Title I Quit match, the TB Tall match, Keith Lee for Shane Taylor, the Jay Briscoe, the 6-man tag BCC FTR Mark Briscoe, and the women's world title match. That's the only match that we're going to check it out. And then we'll go to the post final battle episode of Ring of Honor. I guess they had some technical, so it started later than usual. So 10 matches on the show. This was filmed in Garland, Texas, so it looks like during Collision. Opening match was a tag match to Von Erichs defeating the Workhorseman Anthony Henry and Jay Drake 6 minutes and 26 seconds. And a program match, Women's Championship Athena defeating Milo Rowe 5 minutes and 19 seconds. By the way, if you're new to this show, so program matches are you face a champion. If you win or survive the 10-minute time limit draw, 10-minute time limit, you get shot at the champion. But that doesn't have, like I said, Athena beats Milo Rowe 5 minutes 19 seconds. Dante Martin defeated Lee Johnson 9 minutes and 1 second. And tag team match against the Agony 2/3 of 6-man tag champs. Bishop Commodore Leona defeating Blake Christian, who is currently the Game Changer Wrestling World Champion, and Willie Mack at 6 minutes and 44 seconds. And 6-man tag team match of the Righteous Dutch and Vincent, along with Lance Archer defeating the Iron Savages, Jack James and Bronson and Boulder, 4 minutes and 54 seconds. Tal Falcon defeating Burt Fix in 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Richard Ellerin defeating Charlotte Renegade at 6 minutes and 27 seconds. And a triple threat tag action. Darius Martin, Ash Andrade defeating the Infernal, Kyle Brown, Sean Dean, and the Runners at 8 minutes and 22 seconds. 8-man tag action with Don Castle and the boys, Brandon and Brent Team of Gravity defeat Spanish Ninja Project. That's Angelico and Sam Pitigo, who were team of Cole Carter and Griff Garrison at 6 minutes and 56 seconds. And the main event and tag match, El Hijo de Vikingo and Commander gets winner Grenke Loco and Jack Cartwheel at 9 minutes and 24 seconds. So from this show, I say watch the Von Erichs Workhorseman match, Dante Martin Lee Johnson, the triple threat tag match, and the Vikingo Commander versus Loco and Cartwheel match. Those are the ones I recommend checking out. But that's the show for this week, guys. I'm your host, Ethan Black. I'll be back next week, talk about the usual stuff, talk about the Dynamite and last week's Rampage. And speaking of, before I forget, World's End on next Saturday, December 30th. I'll probably talk about it on the first weekly wrap up of 2024. So just keep an eye on that. And there's no Collision as of right now, unless they do that. But anyway, have a good weekend, guys, and have a happy, safe holidays. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.